This is remarkably honest. Bernie Sanders, a lot of people would say with Bernie Sanders, he's honest. You don't have to agree with everything he says politically, but he's honest. You know, he's a rarity amongst politicians, says it as he sees it, and you know he's there to try and improve the lives of those who he serves and put him into office. His comments about Liz Cheney today are just spectacularly truthful. Perfect.
Senator, before I let you go, I do have to ask you about her recent endorsements by two people who are not progressives at all. Of course, I'm talking about Dick and Liz Cheney. This week, they said they're going to support her. They're going to vote for her. It's worth noting, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney voted with former President Trump more than 90% of the time, was quite critical when President Biden picked her as his running mate. Would you welcome seeing Liz Cheney out on the campaign trail?
Well, Kristen, what I think Dick and Liz Cheney are saying is that in this existential moment in American history, it's not just issues. Cheney and I agree on nothing, no issues. But what we do believe in is that the United States should retain its democratic foundations. And it's not just Cheney. I think there is a significant number of Republicans who say, well, you know, I may not agree with the vice president on this issue or that issue, but I cannot support somebody who's a pathological liar, somebody who fomented a insurrection to overthrow the election return. So I applaud the Cheneys for their courage in defending democracy. Obviously, on all the issues, we have very different points of view.
All right.
I think if you campaign on those issues, raising taxes on billionaires, you know what? She's going to win, and I think she could win big.
Well, let me just ask you then, big picture, do you still consider Vice President Kamala Harris to be progressive, Senator?
I do. Look, she is not where I am. But I think, for example, when she talks about making the child tax credit permanent, and, you know, we did that in the American Rescue Plan. We lowered childhood poverty by 40%. Kristen, we should not have, as the richest country on earth, one of the highest rates of childhood poverty in the world. When she talks about building 3 million units of affordable housing, that's a big deal because we have a major housing crisis in America. You know, when she talks about passing the PRO Act to make it easier for workers to join unions, that's a big deal because we have to expand the union movement so the workers get decent wages. So, yes, her views are not mine, but I do consider her progressive.
So, bottom line, why did you make this decision to support Harris, and why did you do it now?
Yeah, I've been voting for 40 years. My first vote I ever cast was for Ronald Reagan in 1984. I've never voted for a Democrat.
Wow.
And it tells you, I think, the stakes in this election. You know, Donald Trump presents a challenge and a threat fundamentally to the republic. We see it on a daily basis. Somebody who was willing to use violence in order to attempt to seize power, to stay in power. Someone who represents unrecoverable catastrophe, frankly, in my view. And we have to do everything possible to ensure that he doesn't, that he's not reelected. Given how close this race is, in my view, again, it's not enough. You have many Republicans out there who are saying, well, you know, we're not going to vote for him, but we will write someone else in.
Right.
And I think that this time around, that's not enough. That it's important to actually cast a vote for Vice President Harris.
I want to get to that in a moment. But first, you've made it abundantly clear that you have had policy disagreements with Harris. You still have policy disagreements with Harris. But she has moderated her positions on a whole range of issues from where she was just a few years ago. Did those moderations and the efforts to present kind of a moderate face at the Democratic convention, did that make the decision to endorse her easier?
You know, I have never viewed this as a policy election.
Right.
But I think that it's a very important point. If you look at Vice President Harris's speech, for example, at the Democratic convention, it is a speech that Ronald Reagan could have given. It's a speech that George Bush could have given. It's very much an embrace and an understanding of of the exceptional nature of this great nation, a love of America, a recognition that America is a special place, a recognition that we all have to work together to ensure that. And you contrast that to ensure that we maintain it. You contrast that with what we hear from Donald Trump, again, on a daily basis, that America is a failing nation, that America is a laughing stock. The trash talking of the United States of America very much is part of the message that Donald Trump is pushing. And so at the end of the day, I think it's important for people to recognize he's not a conservative. The policies that we're seeing him put forward, including, again, on an almost daily basis, this notion of embracing global tariffs, that he's going to impose 100%, 200% tariffs. That is fundamentally an anti-conservative policy. It's also a policy that I point out to friends of mine who say, well, we're going to vote for him because of his economic conservatism, will choke off global trade, will likely lead us down the path that we've seen before, for example, in the 1930s, lead to, at that point, it was the Depression. The important thing for people to remember about something like the tariffs that he's promising, including, in addition to the fact that it's disastrous policy, he can do it alone. He does not need Congress, if he were to be reelected, to impose those massive tariffs that will, in fact, kill the American economy and the global economy.
I mean, in fact, he did some of that when he was in the White House.
And he's promising
to go to a new
more.
level.
Right.
So, but
in my mind, it doesn't really matter how they try to frame it. Liz Cheney is a through and through conservative. It is so significant, the fact that she is giving her endorsement, her vote to Kamala Harris in the forthcoming election. For her to support a Democratic candidate it's incredible. Obviously, some people will go along with any labels that a former guy gives her. He's calling her a rhino. The same family that endorsed him in his first attempt at becoming president. So it doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. I just thought her comments she made today on ABC were very honest. I don't think she sugarcoated anything. And I'm interested in how somebody like Chris Christie is going to take this information, this news that's happened this week, and what he has to say about it. And I don't think this is going to be the last prominent Republican to say they've had enough. I think the cracks it'll be like a tsunami. I actually think this will be before the debate happens. There'll be other Republicans of a senior position who are also going to start taking a Liz Cheney stance. In fact, they've had enough. My interesting take on all of this is, where is Chris Christie, who is very vocal? And I really don't think Trump wants to pick a fight with Chris Christie, because he will not be, how should we say, he won't stand in the corner and say the right thing. He will take it on head on head. Remember that Chris Christie offered to debate Trump and Trump said no? It's going to get very interesting. Obviously, your sycophants at Fox will still be desperately crawling to his butthole and sniffing the crap that comes out of it.
I have tremendous respect for it, because to me she is a true conservative. And that means that she believes in the Constitution, she believes in the rule of law, she believes in accountability, and she knows that Ted Cruz is a threat to all of that. And so that's why I'm honored to have her support, and I want everyone out there in Texas who feels like they are conservative, that they believe in those things, that they're a moderate, that they're somebody who feels like they don't see themselves reflected in this version of the Republican Party, that they're welcome here.
Actually, I'm honored to have their endorsement, and I think that what they both, as leaders who are well respected, are making an important statement that it's okay, and if not important, to put country above party. And I'm honored to have their support, and I think it's an important statement right now. A lot of what I think is happening, and I was just talking with some folks here in Pittsburgh about it, is that people are exhausted about the division and the attempts to kind of divide us as Americans. And them stepping up to make this public statement, I think, is courageous, but also for people like the folks I was just talking with, it really reinforces for them that we love our country and we have more in common than what separates us.
And look, his running mate is doing this too. I mean, this is my diplomatic way of saying it. they're misogynistic pigs. And I think that will become clear. I mean, I think that the Vice President Harris has demonstrated, you know, particularly if you watch the speech we were talking about at the convention, a focus on seriousness and substance and policy, and you know, I think that you know, for people who sort of say, well, you know, I'm going to, if you have conservatives who might say, well, I'm thinking of voting for Trump because he's a conservative. He is not a conservative. And when you look at the contrast in terms of policies, for example, when it comes to things like NATO, when it comes to things like the support of Ukraine, when you look at the proposals that he's made to impose massive tariffs, for example, you know, I think that there are a whole range of policy issues that raise very serious concerns. But you know, we would. Sometimes you hear from Trump supporters that you know, they want to just let Trump be Trump, and like, I endorse that. Like, let that guy go, because the more people see him, and the more, you know, frankly, at the end of the day, I think that women around this country, like, we've had enough. We've had enough, and I think what that means is that people have got to step up and realize, I mean, again, look at what J.D. Vance says on an almost daily basis about women. I mean, that guy's got a real women problem. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to psychoanalyze him. And there's a lot of eyeliner jokes to be made in there. But I think that, you know, at the end of the day, if you listen to what he says about women, you know, and you look at Donald Trump and what Donald Trump has done and what he says about women, these are not people that we can entrust with power again.
I'm no psychologist, even though I would say that I can body language. VP Kamala Harris is out and about Saturday.
We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We are all in this together.
Yes, we are.
We're going to be fine.
We are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Thank you so much.
Huh?
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you get some spices?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We're standing strong, right? We love our country.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Who's this? Is this a relative of yours
No,
or just a new friend?
Just a new friend.
Hi.
I'm a lawyer in Pittsburgh here, and I just admire your work so much.
Good. What kind of law are you practicing?
Consumer protection.
Good for you.
I'm protecting consumers.
Good for you. You know, that's the work I did as AG.
Yes,
that's good stuff.
Yes.
That's really good stuff. Of course. Come on. Let's do it. Come on. Here.
Oh my God, I'm shaking. Someone take it. I did not get it. Can someone take it for me, please?
Who are the yellow jackets? Come here.
They're my school.
They're your school? What school is that?
Freeport.
Freeport? What's your name?
Charlotte.
Nice to meet you, Charlotte. I'm Commonwealth. Are you cooking also? What are you doing here? Or did you bring an adult with you? Or are you just hanging out?
How are you? Can I have a hug?
Yes, come here. Of course. Aww. How's school going? Has it started? Yeah?
Uh-huh.
It's going well?
Yeah.
What's your teacher's name?
My homeroom teacher is Mr. Gaylott.
Mr. Gaylott? Okay, will you deliver a message to your teacher? And you're going to have to say the Vice President asked me to deliver this message. Okay, here's the message. Thank you for being a teacher. Will you do that for me? Okay, high five. There we go. Oh, you're good. You're a leader already. Come on. Yes, come on. Here.
This way.
Got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You keep doing your work. You're doing really good. That's good work.
Charlotte, right here. Can I get a picture?
Yes, sweetheart. Come on.
Here's the picture.
Got it. Karen's in there. Come on, Karen.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Hi. We're doing it together. He's a teacher.
Yes.
You are a teacher?
Yes, yes.
What level?
7th grade geography.
Oh,
social
bless
studies,
you.
yes.
Good. Thank you. you.
Thank you.
And you know, Tim Walz talked
Yes,
about
yes.
you.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, let's take a
Okay,
family
okay.
picture. Come.
Look right
come.
here. Thank everyone right this way.
Oh, well, this is
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're good. I'm counting on your leadership, okay? Yeah? We have an agreement? Okay. I'm serious. I'm really counting on you. Okay. Good. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Today is Saturday, I believe.
Yes.
I'll catch you later. Okay? All right, go Yellow Jackets. See you later.
Madam Vice President, humiliate tears. Can we take it for you? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Just flip it. Don't worry. Look right here.
As she continues her preparation for the debate coming up. And just look, as I said, at the body language. This is somebody who is relaxed, calm, and is ready to debate about the policies. She talks about Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney's endorsement, and she makes a really, really good point. She wants to lead for all of America. The divisiveness, which is the only trick that Trump knows, just is something which has to be moved on from. And I think one thing which really will happen, this is the difference between the Dana Bash, Jake Tapper. Well, I didn't think it was very good, if truth be told. The difference is, it doesn't matter whether ABC decide to do follow-ups if Trump lies or anything. I think Kamala Harris, from her experience as a prosecutor, will not miss a beat. She's not going to be persuaded to go down the Trump line, you know, he says something controversial, either sexist, racist, really old school. She will do her own thing, but she will pick up on the nonsense, the lies, and the BS.
People are exhausted about the division and the attempts to kind of divide us as Americans. And them stepping up to make this public statement, I think, is courageous, but also for people like the folks I was just talking with, it really reinforces for them that we love our country and we have more in common than what separates us. So.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you,
Are you ready to face Donald Trump?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Best part of debate prep for you? What's your favorite?
Being at the spice store, I finally got out of the debate prep to look at these spices. Best part of debate prep so far.
Your main message to Trump in the debate, what's the one thing you want?
And there you see the vice president. She's answering a couple questions. Let's see. Maybe she's talking about the debate.
It's time to turn the page on the divisiveness. It's time to bring our country together, chart a new way forward.
And here's something that caught my eye, Alexei. Both sides view the debate the same way. The Harris and Trump teams see it as a crucial moment to define Ms. Harris for millions of swing voters who know but are still curious about her. So how will this, Alexei, play into the way both candidates approach this debate?
That's sort of thing that if you watch Fox, you probably get force-fed with.
Exactly right from the New York Times. I mean, the right, Donald Trump and Republicans are trying to remind voters of positions that Harris has taken in the past or things she might have supported that were uber progressive in her 2020 presidential campaign that she no longer stands by as a way to try to say, oh, look, she's a radical leftist. But for Harris, it's going to be basically about painting a vision for the future. It's, yes, introducing herself to the voters in this present moment, but it's not about looking back or defending herself or answering to right-wing questions and talking points about whether she supports something she said in a debate one time in 2020. It will be about how she will bring the country forward and what the country will fundamentally feel like and look like for Americans under a potential.
Choose life. Choose America. Choose voting for someone who doesn't try to sell bleach as a miracle cure. Choose Kamala Harris. Now, I know what you're thinking, but George, you're a Republican and you'd be right. But this isn't about parties. It's about not watching your country become a reality TV show, where the plot twists involve insurrections and pandemic mishandling. Now look, when I was in office, we had our disagreements, foreign wars, economic crisis, you name it. But at least we knew the basics. We knew what the Constitution was for. We knew not to call Nazis very fine people. And we definitely knew not to make government decisions based on who's trending on Twitter. Trump. He's like that rich guy who buys a sports car just to crash it into a tree and laugh it off like it's entertainment. Well, that sports car is America. So yeah, I'm choosing Kamala. Not because she's perfect, but because she doesn't think democracy is some TikTok challenge. Choose a leader who doesn't need 24/7 babysitting by Fox News. Choose common sense. Choose America's future over some guy who can't even keep track of his own lawsuits. God bless America. I'm AI George Bush, and I approve this message.